Take a quick coffee break. My day started nice and early today, as usual. Anyway, in case you hadn't heard, I have a new episode of AKA Fitness Connect dropping today in this group. If you're on the IG live, which I'm kind of trying to film simultaneously, then it's actually in the public Facebook group, and the link is in the bio or also in the comments. But yeah, I thought I would talk a little bit about the subtle difference in coaching styles and figuring out what's best for you. And I think Gail, our guest speaker, kind of really showcases a different style of coaching, or the subtler art of coaching, which I think is often dismissed. And the reason I say that is, I often get sent, social media videos from peers, clients, and friends, and so on, and they'll be like TikTok videos or reels from popular fitness and nutrition coaches. Especially the ones that tend to maybe bag out fitness influencers, or they focus on the correctness of their own fitness and nutrition advice. And look, there's nothing wrong with that. And in most cases, they have a lot of valid points, and some of them are quite, very well researched and so on. It's not my approach that it probably tear other people down. But the other thing is as well, right? That's one approach, and perhaps it's entertaining and it's controversial, so it grabs a bit of people's attentions and provides some information out there. But I think sometimes it actually kind of misses the approach, or this approach kind of misses the point in some of the true benefits around why you might actually have a coach or someone in your support team, right? And yes, of course, having experience and expertise and having credibility obviously is important, but, often the regurgitation of information, even if it is entertaining, I mean, no offense, but it's probably not going to help you overcome some of the subtler roadblocks that might be holding you back with your own personal fitness goals, right? And, and then again as well, if you're first starting, then getting the best plan, and, someone like some of these coaches and that can give you the best, a world-class program is absolutely perfect. But realistically, that counts for jack. Insert your favourite word there, if you're not in a position to be able to follow it, right? So, in other words, what is actually the point of buying a Ferrari if, at the moment, you live on an island with nothing but dirt roads and a speed limit of 40 kilometres an hour? Kind of pointless, right? Because if you're not going to actually address some of the behaviours around, or the roadblocks that are actually stepping your way into terms of actually getting some regular habits done, or actually in a position to be able to execute the plan, then what's the point? So anyway, when we go through, if you're going to catch the episode tonight, and I really hope you do, there will be a replay, and obviously we'll be dropping on Spotify after the Zoomcast video release, exclusive to my community members. But there's 4 roadblocks that are really common to a lot of us at some point in our journey, right? And particularly for people who find it difficult to get into the gym, or to get into a regular exercise habit, or even follow a nutrition plan, right? And there's 4 of these roadblocks, and I'm going to talk about how Gail kind of subtly addresses that. And it's not a main topic that we talk about, it's just the way in which she answers. So, pay attention to some of those things. And the first roadblock is, the first roadblock is when we experience a conflict of identity. Now, this could be a really subtle thing, a notion that, I'm a mum and my whole life revolves around my kids, and so for making the time to do exercise or look after my own health, I've got to prioritise everyone else first, right? Or it could be something else. So, for example, when you're just not acting in congruence with something in the way that you've identified yourself before. So, for example, Gail talks about how she shifted her training approach with one particular client that she had, who was just not connecting, was kind of just lazy and sloth-like in everything that he was doing. And then she sort of worked with the person to understand what their training history is, how they normally go about things, and why they were in such a slump and a bit of a rut. They're overweight, lost desire for a lot of things that they enjoyed, were going through some rough patches, weren't performing the work and all that sort of stuff. And basically she found out this person was actually an athlete, and therefore changed her approaching style to actually start treating him and getting him to act like an athlete. And then the profound effect that had on him in terms of connecting or reconnecting with something that he did recognise as part of his identity or wanted to get back to, and it made a shift in quite a rapid time. The second roadblock is a lack of confidence, and that hits us all at some point, right? And I really like Gail's approach in the way that she does that, in which she, routinely takes through clients back through their very first workout to remind them that they thought they couldn't do that workout to start off with, and that they'd never be able to lift any heavier weight and so on. And she does it to remind them about how far they've come, how strong they are now, and the fact that that's so much easier than when she first took it through them. So I think that's a really great approach, right? And that really comes with experience and really understanding people. The third common roadblock that we have, and we all suffer from this, and if you don't, then I would suggest that perhaps you need to work on some of your self-awareness, but that's a different topic altogether, is feeling like you don't belong. So I know from experience that when I've had people who have wanted to come and meet me in the gym, they actually get into the gym as a barrier because they're not sure how they're going to respond. I mean, I even had a client recently come in, and it was the first time being in the gym, and I completely forgot around how that might feel for a newbie, and she was observing that I was actually the only female in the gym at that point, and that I didn't seem fazed by it, and that's because I feel like I belong in a gym environment, and I'm not fazed by that. I mean, I've worked in FIFO, and the gender diversity isn't as good as it is now, and so on. But that is a real barrier for some people, feeling like they either don't belong in a gym because they're not fit enough to be there yet, or they don't know what they're doing, or that it's a male-dominated environment if they're female and not necessarily feeling comfortable to go. And so Gail helps her clients to, by doing this, by actually having a private training studio where it's a completely one-on-one facility with everything she needs to be able to attend to her clients. And then the other thing she does as another bonus, which I really like, is getting people to sort of have that sense of connection and belonging, is to take them on one-on-one mental health walks. And she actually does that as a free, sort of program in the community that she advertises organically. So that sense of community, sense of belonging, and letting people know that they can belong and be part of something where they can, start getting into the habit of doing exercise regularly or health and fitness activities is really awesome, I think. And then the fourth one, now we definitely all suffer from this at some point, right? And probably every day, right? And it's the stories that we get, or the judgments that we have from, or the expectations of others, right? So if you think about it, even if we look at women, right, there's women's bodies, for example, are judged on, don't be too lean, don't be too bulky, basically have these impossible standards. You have to be feminine at all points. And even bodybuilding is a sport that I love. It's like, well, the first thing that you get judged on is your femininity, not our muscularity or, our aesthetic shape. No, femininity first. Oh, okay. Which is pretty much just calling out exactly how society does things anyway, right? Pretty funny. But anyway, point being is that for a lot of women, building muscle or bodybuilding training or strength training conjures up all these images around, well, I don't want to get too bulky, and that's not a very feminine thing to do, and I don't want to do that. So Gail helps reframe bodybuilding training or a fear of getting too bulky as replacing it as reframing, getting everyone to say, no, we're just going to replace the lean muscle that you've lost to give you some more shape, give you more energy, give you more strength, give you, make you feel younger, all those sorts of things, and instantly shifts and reframes that kind of fear from that particular demographic. So I guess, there's some of the subtler things. So, okay, you can go out and say, okay, well, this person's wrong, or, these fitness influencers don't know what they're doing, and don't follow them because they're not giving you credible information, advice, and all that sort of stuff. But at the end of the day, who cares? If it's giving you some sort of motivation to get back into the gym and helping you to make a change in your life, then there's some positives to be taken by that. And then it's your journey, right? So at some point, you're going to go, okay, well, I've got the first part in, which is getting to the gym. Now the second part is, how far do I want to take this journey? And that really comes from self-awareness, your ability to feel comfortable and continuing to learn, and your ability to accept that there's going to be a lot of failure before you get that part right. And of course, a coach can help accelerate that, but it's not going to be necessarily through the best information that you can get out there. It's going to be the person that can connect with you and understand what you need to overcome those roadblocks to get to the next step. So that's today's insight. I hope you got something out of that. Let me know what you think of the podcast. Don't forget to sign up to the podcast channel for the new episodes. We've got quite a few dropping in the next couple of months. And if you like this post or anything, comment, and have a great rest of the week. Cheers.